Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast. It is the day after Chelsea beat Lincoln 2-1 in the Carabao Cup. Kev is running about 5 minutes late, so he will be joining us very, very shortly. But me and Darmish, we just thought we'd get cracking. Why not? We don't want to keep you waiting much longer. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, man, not too bad, not too bad. Still thinking about the horrendous performance yesterday and the horrendous sort of week that we've had. But I guess it's nice to be back to winning ways, to be honest with you, despite the opposition that we're up against. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we won in the end. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Listen, this is what I've been saying to people. I had a message from a friend of mine as well. What did he say to me? Let me see. I said, start of a decent run of form, I hope. And then he said, I hope so. I feel the fans are far too negative and demand constant perfection, which we all know is impossible. And that for me is a very good way of sort of looking at this game and just analysing the situation around Chelsea at the moment, like going from Lincoln. I mean, if we're going to hone in on that, obviously we can touch on United, we can touch on Bayern. These are all relevant, pretty recent fixtures. But no matter how you play, we always say the same thing, don't we? If you win, then that's what we want. And I was confused yesterday for a number of reasons, because we won and people were pissed off, and just individual players as well that I actually thought. I want to talk about Enzo Fernandez. That was a really strange one for me. Like, I'm intrigued to know what your thoughts are on Enzo Fernandez. I feel like that is a very interesting debate as well, interesting discussion, because this is a player that I've been overly critical of, but I wouldn't use the Lincoln game to paint that picture. I really wouldn't. For me, I think you could have said there was a lot worse on that pitch than Enzo Fernandez. That was my opinion based on what I saw. I thought he got better as the game went on, but it seems like a lot of other people seem to disagree with that. So, we'll see what the chat says. We'll see what the comments say.
I can kind of see why, to be fair. I know obviously that it's not the best sort of it's an example to use, but not the best example, because obviously it's just the back of Lincoln. But I think maybe the reason why you're feeling that is maybe because of the price tag and expectation, maybe the hype around the signing initially, and then how he's been portrayed as being this savior for us, as being this £100 million player that's gonna single-handedly take us to the glory days again of what we used to. So I guess it's more of an expectation thing more than anything for most fans, or for any fan, of what we expected Enzo Fernandez to bring to the table for us.
I don't know, man. Even Maresca, like, we've got to talk about Maresca. I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling, Damish. Do we ease our way into this, or we just go full guns blazing, just talk about it? Because,
do you know what, mate? I think we should just go into it, mate.
We'll just go for it. We'll go for it. All right. Well, yeah. let's start off with the manager then, because I put a short out yesterday, which some people may have seen, some people might not have. I basically said, like, be quiet. Everyone that's talking shit about Maresca, shut your mouth. Respect your gaffer. That's what I've said, and that's what I'm going to continue saying. Show some respect to the man that hit every single target he was given last season. Champions League football, check. Conference League title, check. Club World Cup, check. That wasn't even a target, by the way. We overachieved in that.
Yeah.
So let's not sit here and act like we're dealing with a manager who was basically bang average last season. Now, did we have moments where we were bang average? Absolutely. I'm with you on that. But to sit here and even speak about sacking this guy is just criminal. It's criminal to me. That's the reality of the situation, Dharmesh. Charlie sort of took the piss out of me, and he said, hang on, Alex, didn't you say that all that stuff last season? I said, yes, I did, mate. I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I do remember us recording after the Liverpool game, wasn't it?
Fine, mate. Opinions are allowed to change.
Yeah, no, of course,
you don't wear the same clothes every day, do you? I'll wear blue today. I'll wear green tomorrow. I'm not going to have my beard. I might shave at some point. Things happen. Things change.
Oh, please don't shave, bro. Please keep the beard, man.
Let's look at last season with Maresca. Let's look at it. Yeah, what happened? We didn't know anything about him. We'd never seen him competing at the top level, leading a team. We didn't know how to judge him. And we'd come off the back of a season where we improved from 12 to 6, but there were still a lot of fans that were unhappy with what Pochettino was doing as well. Now, me personally, I've always said I didn't mind it because I actually think we improved a lot. In fact, I know we improved a lot because, again, look at the league position, look at the domestic cup competition. You can't deny the improvement. And I actually thought that it was very entertaining to watch. But this isn't about Poch, it's about Maresca. So this guy comes in and you go, okay, fine. And he has a good start to the season. You're never going to complain when you're having a conversation about competing for the title. But we have that dip in form sort of around Everton in late December, and then January, February is a disaster. March is difficult. We have that horrible loss against City. This is when we really get frustrated with Robert Sanchez. And you completely understand everyone who felt the way I did. I mean, I don't even know how you felt, Dharmesh, off the top of my head. Were you in the same camp as me, or were you a little bit more...
I was more backing Maresca, to be fair, just because of I remember at the start of the season that we had last season where we, I guess, sort of overachieved and surprised everyone with how we were playing and where we are on the table there. But then we saw the very worst of Maresca's management, and we saw a bit of his inexperience come into play as well, which showed from December up until, say, April, really. That was a horrible sort of spell for us, where we just weren't winning games, we weren't scoring goals, we were conceding loads of goals as well. And yeah, for me, I felt the same about Man City away last season. That was rock bottom for me in terms of the feeling during the season, where with no expectation to win, going there as an away fan, you're just like, yeah, let's just get out there with hopefully a draw or win. But yeah, Robert Sanchez being Robert Sanchez does what he does. But yeah, I really don't get this Maresca out stuff at the moment. I mean, the guy's only lost like 2 games in God knows how many games, and that's our first loss in the Premier League since I couldn't even tell you when the last time we lost in the Prem before Man United.
Well, let us know in the chat as well, guys. Let us know. By the way, we are going to go. Yeah. We are going to interact with the chat, guys, but we don't want to lose track of the conversation either. So what's going to happen? We're going to go through a number of topics. We'll touch on what the chat's saying. If it's not relevant to what we're talking about, we'll wait for it a little bit later. But we will try and get through all of your comments, guys. So don't feel like we're ignoring you. We're not. We just want to make sure that the conversation flows nicely. But yeah, listen, mate. I mean, fair play to you, Dharmesh, for being patient last year. I've seen the light. I've seen the light, and yeah, maybe I'm the only person that does this, Dharmesh. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head of many other people. In terms of the YouTube space that have basically come out and said, "Listen, I was wrong." But I absolutely feel that way. So I cannot take the same view this year with the manager that I had last season, because there's an element of trust. There's an element of, do you know what? When I didn't believe in you, you found a way to change that and make me believe. You have to be a pretty special individual to do that. I'm not sitting here saying Maresca's, the best thing since sliced bread, but I'm saying there's not many managers that can turn a fan base that's pretty much against them for the most part. Because I would say the majority of Chelsea fans were Maresca out, into fans that go, you know what? Fair play. I mean, how many managers do you know who've done that? Maybe Postecoglou, but well, that's just off the top of my head. But
I guess with Di Matteo as well. Do you remember we had Di Matteo in charge? A lot of people were against the appointment of Di Matteo, but then all of a sudden he won us the Champions League, and all of a sudden everyone sort of believed in him and had that sort of faith. Even Rafa Benitez is a better example, actually, where no Chelsea fan can say that they wanted Rafa Benitez in. And then all of a sudden gets us the Europa League and also gets us Champions League football back again. And all of a sudden he's like one of our most successful managers or one of our most underrated managers, should I say. I'll put him in
Yeah.
that same category. Sorry, there's obviously a different conversation in regards to that. But I think the expectation with Maresca for this season will be a bit different for fans like yourself, probably, where you didn't really believe in him. Maybe you're expecting maybe you're having different expectations as this season, but then if those expectations don't get met by yourself, for example, you'll go back to that phase of last season where you're like, oh, like, was it just a once-off, or was it just a fluke? Or yeah, that's why
Mate,
I kind of
honestly,
see it.
the reality of the situation is we are now working with a Club World Cup winner and a European champion, whatever you want to call him, Conference League. You know, I was having an argument with someone today about the Carabao Cup. I was like, I'd fucking love to win the Carabao Cup.
Same, I wouldn't mind either. And
Everyone takes the mickey out of it. Where's my Carabao? That's what I'm saying. So
the amount of hurt that we've had at Wembley as well, it'd be nice to win at Wembley as well, get that sort of mental side of winning at Wembley again.
Absolutely. You know, I'm at this stage now where I'm thinking we can't live. And I'm not saying that Chelsea or any fans in particular, I'm not saying that you're living, you know, in the past. And obviously you want to win Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, but we have to take the value in what's a really competitive stage in world football domestically as well. Everyone's getting better. It's not easy to win things. It's not easy to get to the top as quickly as you could in 2005, 2006. It's just different now. It's different. So we have to appreciate that. But I mean, this kind of goes back to the recruitment as well. We have to touch on the recruitment, but yeah, in terms of the Lincoln game, just going back to that, I think that Maresca for me should not get the blame entirely for that performance. You know, look at the amount of changes that we made. Look at the amount of players that started in that match or featured in that match. How many minutes have they had this season? How many minutes have they had together this season? And, you know, there's no surprise there's a lack of chemistry and it looked disjointed and we weren't able to progress the ball and maybe the communication at times could have been a lot better. There's no surprise. But, you know, I went in at half time thinking, what is going on? Like, it was worse than Man United in the first half. Yeah, that's honestly how I felt. And a lot of people said that as well. And we go in and we got our goals and we ended up winning the game. So clearly the manager's done something. He was very angry based on what they asked him after the game. He had a right go at the players. And he said, we knew this was going to happen. We literally planned for what Lincoln were going to do to us. And they still managed to capitalize. So you can't blame that on the manager. You have to blame the individuals in terms of the players for making the mistakes and not doing their jobs. You know, it's as simple as that. I'm not sitting here saying that Fofana and Chalobah need to do what Tosin does because I know they're not capable of it. That's fine. But this is exactly the kind of game that I wouldn't have a problem dropping Tosin because I go, you know what? Even if we don't score loads of goals, like we shouldn't make really that many mistakes, and they shouldn't have the quality to capitalize on it like a Premier League side. And that always drove me forward. But I do think that Lincoln gave us a good go. You know, 100%. We just needed to get players in the midfield into the game. We needed to get Buonanotte on the ball. We needed to get Santos on the ball, and when they did, you know, things certainly improved.
Yeah. It was two completely different teams, mate. Honestly, it was like watching Man United Grimsby in that first half yesterday, but then all of a sudden the second half, like we looked a completely different team. And I hear what you're saying, to be fair. I think the only question mark one of the only question marks I'll probably have of Maresca is why is he not using Mark Guiu? Well, what's gone on there? I mean, that's obviously discussion for that's obviously a discussion that we might get into in more depth and stuff.
We're definitely going to talk about George and Guiu 100%.
But why? But I just can't understand. Like throughout this week, generally, Bayern Munich, Man United, and now Lincoln. Why has Mark Guiu not got? Why has he got 0 minutes? I can't understand why. And I'm not saying that Mark Guiu is the answer to the problems, but surely he's more of a threat up top than Tyreek George would be. But
I mean, this goes back to recruitment. This goes back to the board. Why did you bring him back from Sunderland? Why did you do it? Who did you consult? Did you give Maresca? Did Maresca even approve this, or did it just happen? Like, did he ask for Mark Guiu to come back? Did Mark Guiu want to come back? That's a genuine question, by the way.
Nah,
I mean, especially
honestly,
looking at the
no.
way he seems valued at the moment. Like, how does that benefit his career coming back to Chelsea to just sit on the bench?
It's honestly because Nicholas Jackson didn't want to come back. Simple as. If Jackson had agreed to come back, then Guy would be at Sunderland right now. He'd be getting some minutes. He'd be playing the cup games or whatever. It's literally because Nicholas Jackson refused to come back. That's the reason why we brought him back. And then obviously with Liam Delap being injured as well, we have to have some sort of number 9 up front or a so-called striker in the squad, which Maresca's not using. So that's one. That's sort of one. The most criticism I have of him right now, more than anything, and obviously with the United game, I think the substitutions that he made and the way he approached the game after the red card. But yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, he's still going to learn as well because it's been situations where he's used to having 11v11, for example, the Man United game. But as soon as you get, I can't remember last time where we've gone to 10 men or Leicester have gone down to 10 men, and he's been in that situation where he's had to make a change so early and scrap the game plan from day dot. So that's something that he'll learn on as well as a manager. Like people forget as well. This is I believe his third. Is this his third actual managerial year? Like just generally, I believe that's correct. Someone in the chat can correct me, but third or fourth year. So he's going to make mistakes along the way. That's something that we have to accept. He's not the polished article. He's not a Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho. He's not a polished manager with bundles of experience. He's going to make mistakes on the way. He's going to learn. But as I said, that's the one question mark I do have is why aren't you utilizing the squad as much as you can? And when you know something's not working, why are you still persisting with it? That's the biggest problem I have at the moment with what Maresca's doing at the moment. And that's just a criticism, by the way. Not even saying Maresca out or anything like that at all. Because I do like Maresca. I think he's, like I said, like we both said, overachieved, exceeded our expectations, and definitely deserves this season for sure to see what he can do for us and take us to the next level. But that's the one criticism I have of him at the moment is, yeah, as I mentioned, what is he seeing in training that we're not with regards to Mark Guiu? And why is he still putting square pegs into round holes where we know it's not working?
I mean, what I will say is this. We all spoke about Robert Sanchez last season and how Jorgensen should come in. He ended up coming in and then he got dropped straight away. Now we understand, especially watching that Lincoln game why Jorgensen got dropped. We're not going to speak in depth about that yet. We'll get to it. But it gives you an idea that actually, well, maybe Maresca does have a bit of insight that we don't. And we've only just found out, recently that Sanchez is the better goalkeeper, hands down. And what's clear and obvious to us, we see, 90 minutes every 7 days, every 4 days, whatever it is, depending on how much we play. Maresca sees it every day, all the time. So there has to be, I want to say there's an element of logic in this because I don't think Maresca's an idiot. I really don't. Maresca has convinced me that he's an intelligent manager. He knows how to manage players. He knows how to manage a squad. He has a certain way of managing certain players, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with the way Nkunku was managed last season. I don't necessarily think João Felix was managed well. I think there's a number of players that you could look at and make that argument, even Malagusto last season, right? But then you look at, you look past that, and I see a manager who's adapted in a lot of ways. I think that now Maresca knows how to utilize Malagusto a lot more than he once did. I see him trying to change the way Enzo Fernandez plays. We are going to talk about Enzo Fernandez, guys, so don't worry. He's certainly a topic. And I definitely see someone who can adapt. But listen, Kev's joining us now. Kev, we're literally talking about Maresca at the moment. He's the main topic. I am very much in the camp of, listen, we did play our best football against Lincoln. Obviously, we've had a tough run before that. Honestly, have some respect for the manager as far as I'm concerned. Let's not overreact. Let's not sack him. Dharmesh is pretty level-headed as well. I mean, what's your take on Maresca and his sort of situation at Chelsea?
Alex, I said the last time we spoke, I told you this before the season started. It says, look, I don't care if we're 15th place, I don't care if we've got on a bad results, a bad run of results. I will not point the finger at the manager one bit. One bit. None of this is on the manager's head, bro. We continue to get embarrassed defensively week after week. Goalkeeper mistake, defensive mistake. This is what I predicted at the start of the season, bro. When you're not backing your manager with the tools that he needs to improve, get some more consistency, to push on and challenge for honours, they've not backed him. So how can we keep on pointing the fingers at the manager? Okay, the style of football for me is, I'm just going to be honest, boring. I have not had any entertainment from his style of football. Okay, but they brought the model on and have brought the players to suit a style of football, and that's this play at the back football, little triangles, play through the channels for the midfield into the attack, etc., etc. So they brought in the manager to fit their system and their ideas, but they haven't got the players to do it, bro. First 5 minutes against Man United, what was we doing? Playing it around the back. I think Sanchez, within the first 2 minutes, then to give the ball away under Man United's press. And it was just a mistake going to happen when he's come rushing out, sent off. How many times are we seeing goalkeepers make mistakes? How many times are we seeing defenders making mistakes? Because this playing out the football does not work, bro. Every single week, we keep saying it. How many months have we been saying this? This playing at the back, inverted football does not work. It continues to still do it, bro, against Bayern Munich, playing Reece James midfield. It might have worked against PSG, but you have to be adaptable as a manager to go into each game with a different tactical system. For me personally, against Man United, I would have been playing at the back the first 10 minutes at all. Pitch is very slippy. What's going to happen? If you keep recycling that ball to your goalkeeper, what's going to happen? It's going to be a mistake, isn't that? With a pitch that wet, there's going to be a mistake. First 15 minutes, I would have telling my boys, hit it up their half, get the ball in their half, don't give them no silly mistakes away in the first 5-10 minutes. What do we do? Continue to keep playing this style of football, bro. So he's very stubborn in the way he's doing things, but as a manager, you shouldn't have to change your style of football. But he has to be more open-minded going into each game. But for me, answer your question again, Alex, sorry for going on.
No, honestly, this is going to be a long show. So we're going to go for probably an hour and a half.
Whoever's in the fan base saying Marasca's up, bring in another manager. It's not good. He's not going to be a top manager. He's going to have to work in the players he's got. Some of the players in the team, in the squad, are not going to be up to his liking. And it's just copy, paste, repeat. In 2 years' time, we're going to be sat here saying the same thing. So the fingers need to be pointed to people upstairs. They are not doing their job properly, bro. Simple as that. Look at the signings we've made, bro, this summer. Look at the signings we've made this summer, bro. Absolutely abysmal.
Well, we're going to say abysmal.
Okay, there's one or two signings I can say that have elevated the team. João Pedro being one, and Dilap being another. Apart from that, are these signings elevating his team? But yeah, but he was signing previous to that. When you're looking at the bigger picture, bro, the signings that we made are mid, bro. The mid. You can't say Esteval is a world beater, bro. He's yet to prove himself at the top level, bro. He's got potential to be a world-class player, but that's the key word, potential. All these players that we're bringing in, potential. We are not bringing in quality players. So how can we keep on blaming the manager? There's nothing on it. Sporting directors need to be looked at for not identifying that your goalkeepers that you brought in, £50 million of the goalkeepers that are making mistake week in, week out. And just because all of a sudden he has 3 games in the Club World Cup, everyone's like, oh, I can't criticize him. He's not put a foot wrong yet. We all know the keeper's crap, bro. It's going to cost us game after game after game after game after game.
Which
he
one?
has done for the last 2 years. It's not going to change, bro. It's not going to change.
Which one,
1 minute anyway. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Kev said, to be fair. In terms of our recruitment over the past summer, to be fair, we were all excited that we had cover for Cucurella and stuff by signing Hato, but Hato's not really impressed, to be honest with you, at the moment. He's still finding his feet. He's not played much, but there's still signs that he's not ready. And we obviously signed a lap, the striker that we that we thought that would get us sort of 15 to 20 goals, but obviously now he's injured. So it's kind of just like, apart from Delap, Pedro, and maybe Esteban coming in, like, we've not really done what Maresca's asked for. And we did not act on Colwell's injury as well. All this talk about not
that
signing
is true, mate.
back,
That is true. We didn't act on Colwell's injury.
Which
I mean,
you
that's
should have.
becoming more and more apparent that the centre back issue could definitely be a problem. I mean, I'm still very much a believer that we can, achieve good things without signing a centre back. At least in the summer. Maybe we do something in January. I'm not saying we don't. But I mean, we tried to sign Dean Huijsen. That would have been perfect, mate.
That would have been a wicked signing, a statement sort of signing where he already knows the league. He's young as well, so he suits the profile of what we want or what Maresca wants as well. Wouldn't put as much pressure on the centre backs that we've got at the moment, and yeah, just a good leader overall as well. He's a very good leader. That's what people don't realize as well. And it's a shame that we spent the Garnacho / Gittins money on them, really, when there should have been either a centre back or goalkeeper we should have brought in. We should have either got Garnacho or Gittins, not both of them. So yeah, definitely figures need to be pointed at the sporting directors. But hey, they're here for 6 more years, so
yeah. I mean, let's just go through the signing very quickly, Dharmesh. I want to know what you think. So we're either going to go good, mediocre, bad. All right, that keep it very black and white.
yeah.
Let's start off with João Pedro. I think that's a pretty obvious one. That's a good signing. Delap, that's a good signing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a good signing. It's not a pressured signing as well. He's not pressured to score that sort of 15, 20 goals for us, but because there's goals within the team, so there's not that pressure, as I said, for him to hit the ground running and stuff, which is why not many people are talking about Delap being injured or not really missing him, to be fair, because we know that he will come back and he will start hitting form again. So yeah.
What about Garnacho? How do you rank that one?
Mediocre signing.
Gittins?
Mediocre signing as well.
Yeah. Hato?
I'd say good, just because of the depth for Cucurella, more so than the fact that I know that he's not going to play the Cucurella, but it's just nice that on paper that Cucurella gets a rest. That's it. That's literally all it is. So anyone could have filled in that left back. I mean, it could have been literally any name under the sun, and I would have been happy with backup to Cucurella, which is important. So yeah, I'd say good signing for that reason only, not because of Hato as a player.
Okay. Esteval?
Yeah, good.
Asugo?
Yeah, I'd say good signing as well, just because we don't know. Well, obviously, it's a shame he's injured now, but he would have been the successor to Lavia, if that makes sense, or filled Lavia's shoes in, because we don't know the situation on Lavia and stuff. So that's why we were sort of going for Asugo.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then I'm missing someone, aren't I? Andre Santos.
This one I'm not sure about, man.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm very torn. I'm very 50-50 on it. Just because of the players that we got in the position. I mean, he's fighting with Enzo Fernandez in that position. Will he have a season like Enzo Fernandez did last season in the Premier League? I'm saying, not obviously. We know that he's done it for Strasbourg, but yeah. I'd say I'll go mediocre for now. I'll go mediocre signing for now. But that's the one I'm not really sure on, to be honest with you, just because of my sort of expectations on him and how I expect him to do. But yeah, it's a difficult one actually with Santos. And
then we'll finish off with Buonanotte.
Yeah, I'd say mediocre as well, to be honest with you, bro. I mean, the goal he took was absolutely great yesterday. It was phenomenal finish and stuff yesterday. But is that sort of his level? Can he do it? Well, we saw against Brentford, he couldn't really get into the game much, but going ahead and stuff, he's obviously going to play second fiddle to Palmer and maybe João Pedro in the 10 sometimes, but is that his level? We don't know. So I'd say mediocre, and just before the amount of sort of hype that we sort of had around signing Xavi Simons, and all of a sudden we end up with Buonanotte, who obviously seems a good player on paper, but is that his level? As I said, is Lincoln his level where he's bagging GA? I don't know. So,
look, I mean, I'll say this: I don't think it was a terrible window. I don't think it was terrible at all, because I just asked you about a number of players and a number of good signings. You know, if it's terrible, then there's not really much positive to say.
But I think it's the fact that we didn't address the key sort of areas that we've been crying out for.
We did We did address a key area. We addressed the striker, and that was a very key area. And
but I mean goalkeeper, because I think all of us have been asking for.
I agree with that. You know, I agree with the goalkeeper.
Which is the main thing, I think.
And centre backs, like I'm with you on that. I personally thought Hatta would play centre back, but it seems like that's not going to happen. And he's a lot smaller than I thought as well. So I don't see him really winning. Especially, I remember the opening game against Palace. I saw Mateta, and I thought, Jesus, I'm glad Hatta isn't starting. But yeah, I would not say it's been a disastrous window. I gave it, I think, a 7 out of 10 because I was pretty happy with a lot of it. And people criticize the Garnacho signing. I think it was a good signing. People talk about obviously the strikers. We can't have any complaints there in terms of value for money, especially for the lap. Esteban is an upgrade on Madueke from me. I would say Garnacho is an upgrade on what we had last season. What did we have last season? I would take Garnacho over Sancho, mate. I would take Garnacho over Sancho. I didn't mind Sancho, but I just think that you're going to get more from Garnacho. I already do.
It's just like.
Hang on, Kev. Let me finish, and then you can speak. Santos upgrade in the midfield. Asugo cover for Caicedo. I think that's an upgrade on what we had last season. I would have happily had Dewsbury Hall in the squad, but understandable that he wants to go. And then obviously we got cover for Cucurella, which we didn't have either. So centre backs, again, an issue that needs to be addressed. But when you look all over the rest of the pitch, you cannot deny the improvement. Obviously, goalkeeper and centre backs, I'll agree with you on both of those points. I'll concede that. But midfield is better. Up top is better. Left back depth is there. It wasn't there last season. And, we've actually got a way of getting the best out of Malagusta now, which we didn't have last year. So I think that there's a lot more. There is more to be positive about. There is. I can justify it. And that's why, I'm being a little bit more defensive of what we're doing in our recruitment. I also don't think that the target should ever be the recruitment team, because they're not the ones that set out the parameters of who we can sign. In the scale of things, they're told this is what you're allowed to do, and they work within those parameters. It's not like they get given a blank checkbook. It's sign whoever. The reason we went for Dean Huijsen and we didn't go for some of these other more experienced players is because he ticks all the boxes. He had the quality. He was the right age. His distribution was good. Defensively good. He had Premier League experience, etc. He would have been able to sign on a long-term deal with a pretty sustainable contract as well. So name me another player that we could have signed that ticks those boxes as well.
In what position, bro?
Centre back.
I've said it before. Benfica's centre back. What's his name?
Is that Hincapié? Yeah, I do that Hincapié, to be fair. He's a good player as well.
Benfica. He played against us in the Carabao Cup.
Antonio Silva.
I quite like him.
Okay, in fairness, he would fit the age bracket, but how much would he cost?
Yep. You're looking 50 to 60 mil for him easily.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's certainly an argument to be had about a number of these players. When I asked the question, it's not like there isn't anyone else, but there's not a big number. That's my point. It's not an easy position to fill. So my thing is this. My thing is always this. I just want us to get a bit better, okay? And unlike some people want to go from 0 to 100, which is very unrealistic, I want us to just, right, we finished 12th, we finished 6th, we finished 4th. Can we finish 3rd? Can we compete for a little bit longer? Can we retain ourselves in the domestic cups, which we couldn't do last season? I'm not asking for the world here. So, yeah, that's my stance on it. Go on, Kev.
You just got to look at it as it stands. If you feel and you think this team's finishing 3rd, bro, wow. You got your
I didn't
blinkers
say.
on
I
there,
didn't say that. Although I think we are capable of it. But my point is that I want to see the
I agree with
progression.
Alex, to be fair. Yeah.
Let me tell you this, Kev. We could finish fourth, right? Same position as last year. We could actually finish in some ways. We could finish on less points than we did in the league last season and still improve because we could win trophies domestically, which is harder to do than winning the Conference League, and we can have a better season in the Champions League, which is harder to do as well. So there's a lot of things that people need to take into consideration. Look, as it stands right now, the way we're playing, it's not looking great. But we're not working with bums anymore. This is how I felt 2 years ago when Poch was here. It's like this guy is working with a bunch of clowns on the pitch. You saw me and Kev were having arguments every week because I was defending Mudryk, and I was like, Kev, it's gonna come good. It's gonna come good, mate. Like that's where we were. That's where we were. And now we're in a situation we have a genuine spine. We have players of proper quality in a number of positions. You can't sit here and act like we don't have enough to get Champions League football.
I've disagreed that we've got a spine. I disagree with that, to be fair.
We do have a spine. Of course we have a spine.
We haven't got a strong core. Your goalkeeper and your centre backs.
We do have a strong core. Of course we do.
No, the goalkeeper and your two centre backs are...
All right, take the goalkeeper out of the equation. Cucurella is in my spine. Caicedo's in my spine. Palmer's in my spine. That's literally a spine right there.
Your spine
and
is the middle of your team.
is going to become a key part of that.
Centre backs, your midfielders, that's your spine.
So you just don't include the other.
I think what Kev means. I think what Kev means is maybe the start of the spine or the backbone of the spine. Say, for example,
I'm talking about the middle
of the middle. I think that's what he means. But I do agree with Alex that there's some sort of spine in the team compared to before, but obviously every title-winning team or every spine has always stemmed from having a world-class goalkeeper, having a centre-back. I keep going back to it. Alisson, Van Dijk, Fabinho, Salah. Obviously, the last time Liverpool won the league, that was their spine. But I do think that we still got a spine at the moment with Cucurella, Caicedo, Palmer, as you mentioned as well. But it's just lacking that start or that base, basically. The base isn't there for that spine. It's all sort of gone like that, but nothing there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems to me that these SD sporting directors like their wingers. They like the wingers. That's where the focus is. How can you sign so many wingers in a transfer window that, they've elevated a slightly bit? Can that Sancho, both mid, elevating a tiny bit, but you leave. When your managers come out and told you the start of the season, I need a replacement for Colwell, and they haven't gone out and placed it. We all know Sanchez is going to give you problems. Okay, he might go and have 5 decent games, but he's got a massive blunder in him, cost us points a game, probably for the 10th time in his career in the Chelsea shirt against Saturday just gone. Another goalkeeper mistake last night. We identified these decisions a long time ago. So this is where I believe top 3, top 4 it's not there, bro. I can't see it happening, bro. I felt a lot less positive this time last year. Now obviously we've gone and won the Club World Cup and everything. That positive feeling was there. But look already, we're already 4 or 5 games a season, and that negativity is coming back because of what? Your goalkeeper and your centre backs are letting you down every week. So that negative, all that work we've been doing the last couple of months to feel proud about this club, Club World badge, all that, everyone feel happy. I just basically been kicked to the floor, bro. Because now we're back to square one. Defensive mistakes every single week, goalkeeper mistakes every single week, same play at the back football, slow. It's just gone back to the same toxic negativity straight away, bro. And I predicted this shit, bro. I knew it was going to happen. I knew after a few games in, everyone's going to be like, Maresca out. I knew it. After, you got to say, a few weeks ago, what was everyone like them? Oh, Maresca's the best thing. Well done. Give these guys stripes. Well done. And all of a sudden now, 5 games in, I want him out. So it's always the manager that takes the blame, bro. It's not the manager's fault, bro. I have to keep saying it, bro. They're not signing the right caliber of player for Chelsea Football Club. It's just the same mid. And I ain't changing my mind, bro. I cannot
Kev,
go
I'm not
off a
asking you to
player
change your mind. I'm
who's
just
19,
saying
20
that
years
the
old.
window's not as bad as you make it out to be. If it was a disaster, mate, we wouldn't have a striker.
Listen, João Pedro, Liam Delap are a massive step up. But like I said to you about 10 minutes ago, that's the only positive I can say. That's black and white. Compared to Jackson, they're black and white. The rest of them, it's just tiny little tweaks, bro. It's not much improvement. When you think about the money you spend on these players, are they massive improvements to what we've already got? No, they ain't, bro. Or what we've sold. No, they're
I mean,
not, bro.
maybe that's one
They're
way
not.
of looking at it. Maybe that's where we're different,
not.
Kev. I don't expect a massive change. I just want change for the better, whether it's slow or quick. It's all I care about, you know. So it's like whatever way you want to look at it. You might go to the gym twice a week. You might go to the gym 6 times a week. You're going to get fitter, obviously, if you go more. But you're still going to get fitter if you go twice a week. You're still going to see progression. It just takes a little bit longer. So, as far as I'm concerned, you know, that's where Chelsea are at the moment. That they're finding their feet, and I would much rather be playing the type of football we're playing now and struggling at the beginning of the season to then see improvement in 2026 than the opposite way around, which is what we had last season. So I see this as a real. Well, I am seeing it as a positive, I suppose, because I think that it's going to get better. You know, and I think that Maresca's proven that he can make us better. So that's the blueprint that we have to go from on last season. Also, you've got to remember, we've got players that will come back. You know, when you have more quality in front of defenders as well and the keeper, it helps negate those mistakes. So when Lavia comes back, when you've got more options up front and you can cause more problems for the opposition, they're going to worry about those things. And it all makes a difference. Ultimately, it all makes a difference. But I mean, who knows what's going to happen? You know, I'm certainly not making any predictions, but I do think that we just need to calm down, take a deep breath, guys, you know. And
you know what, you're right, Alex. This fan base is very reactionary, bro. As soon as the shit hits the fan, everybody wants to start saying, pointing fingers, saying this, that, everyone else. Whatever we give these new players a chance here, I see so much rubbish, bro. I just think it's so embarrassing. Some of the shit I see, some of the pressure we put on these young players to start hitting their ground running straight away. When you sign for a new team in the best league in the world, do you need time to find your feet? A lot of these signings are coming from different countries. You know, Estavio being one, coming from a different continent, different, you know, everything else. They've got to settle in. I'm seeing so much pressure being put on these players to bring in. And this is my argument. This is what I believe sometimes you need to bring in a bit of experience because they usually find the feet a lot more quicker. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's just go on this one. So, Dharmesh, obviously you watched the Lincoln game. Now let's talk about Jorgensen then, because we're talking about the goalkeeper, Sanchez. You know, Jorgensen comes in. Sanchez obviously got his red card. He wasn't able to play. What did you make of his performance? You know, let's talk about distribution first, and then obviously we can look at the actual shot stopping side of things. And
I mean Jorgensen wasn't very convincing to say the least in comparison to what we saw from Robert Sanchez, especially on Saturday. It didn't really fill me with much confidence that he was dealing with the Lincoln long throws and the set piece as well. I mean, coming out of his box as well, he just looks shaky all the time. He doesn't seem up for it. And it's very Kepa-esque when he was in the Chelsea shirt for us, I thought. At times as well, where it was a little bit worrying. Yeah, I mean, his distribution wasn't the worst, but it wasn't great either. I mean, there were a couple of times where Gusto made a run down the right. You could have played him in, you know, how Sanchez normally does the Gusto. I think he tried that a couple of times, but it just didn't work. And I thought he was a bit slow as well on the ball, passing out the back. And where we needed to take the game to Lincoln in the first half, I just didn't think it stemmed or started from him. So it doesn't fill me with much confidence, man, honestly, with Jorgensen a goal. Yeah, it's just a shame that we have another very meaty goalkeeper, a very meaty goalkeeper.
I think that Jorgensen is a keeper that I had high hopes for. If you look at his stats in La Liga, very, very good. One of the best shot stoppers in La Liga when he was playing for, was it Las Palmas he was playing for? Or I'm trying to think who Jorgensen was playing for. Can't remember off the top of my head who was playing for. Let us know in the chat. I think it was Las Palmas. No, that was
Wasn't it a bigger club? I thought, wasn't it Valencia or something like that? Or no? Or Villarreal? Or no? Am I just imagining that? I think
I can't remember off the top of my head. My head's gone blank. Let us know who Jorgensen was playing for. But yeah, I just think he's been a pretty bang average keeper, to be honest with you. Never had an amazing sort of period. He's had great games. They were all in the Conference League. They're all against teams that we should have beaten anyway. And when you get raised with just that higher level teams that are a little bit better, you know, he has not stepped up. He hasn't stepped up, and that's why he got dropped so quickly for Sanchez as well.
That mistake against Aston Villa as well last season. I don't know if you guys remember that as well. I mean, that was for me when I was like, nah, Jorgensen ain't it, man. That was the last straw for me.
Kev, when we were in the stadium, mate, we were saying like everything that Sanchez, for all the things that frustrate us about Sanchez, Jorgensen. It's crazy to me because I would say Jorgensen's distribution is better than Sanchez, right?
Yeah,
but take away the distribution, I would say pretty much every other aspect of Sanchez's game is better. He's a better shot stopper. He's better at claiming crosses. He's more dominant. He's more decisive. He takes control of his back line better than Jorgensen. There was a tweet from a lady called cfctvyt. I don't know if any of you follow her on Twitter. And it was basically, basically she was saying, let's see if I can find the tweet later, but she was saying I was right behind the goal. I was in the front row and Lincoln had a free kick and the defenders are looking back at Jorgensen, basically waiting for him to give them instructions on where to move and what to do. And he was silent. He didn't do anything. And she was shouting to him saying, come on, mate, command your back line. And he wasn't taking any leadership. Now, obviously, I don't know if it's true, but if we're judging the performance we saw, he didn't look very dominant. He didn't look confident. He didn't look like he had much leadership. So I'll take Kathy's word for it. And this is a keeper for me that, you know, I really think, he's just not got a future at Chelsea as a number one. That's the reality of the situation. And even as a number two, he's been underwhelming. Like I remember the good old days, Courtois and Caballero, Cech and Courtois. That is options right there. That is options. And now we're working with Sanchez and Jorgensen. Like we're talking about Mike Penders because we're so desperate for a goalkeeper. We don't even know if we have Magnan in the bank either, right? We don't even know about that because there's a good chance that someone else snaps them up on a higher wage. You know, there might be another club out there.
Well, Donnarumma was there for freaking 23 million, bro. We could have got Donnarumma.
Hey, I was on the phone earlier talking about Donnarumma, and I was like, too old, 26. It's too old. How crazy is that?
Not too old, bro.
You know, but they can't resell him for a profit. That's why they're not doing it. And this is why I don't blame.
We're just not ambitious enough as a club, bro. Simple as that. We're not ambitious enough as a club to go and get world class, bro. Simple as that.
Look, just be clear though. When you're saying this, we are talking ownership here. This is. Whenever you complain about the recruitment, you have to look at the ownership. It is not
ownership.
Lawrence Stewart, not Stanley. It's not Joe Shields. They can obviously make mistakes, but they are working within the parameters of what they're allowed to do.
These owners,
if it was up to them and they had a blank checkbook, I guarantee we would have signed Donnarumma.
How many mistakes can you make, though, brother? How many mistakes have we made with these transfers? Think about how many players we signed and think how many mistakes we made. Think how many good players we brought in. Think how many bad. It's the transfers, you know. But yeah, that's another story, bro. But it's, like you said, I never seen much Jorgensen. I didn't watch the game last night. I was busy. But the mistake again last night, lack of communication between your centre back and goalkeeper, just like you just said. No communication again on Sunday.
Oh God.
Didn't mean Saturday
Kev,
didn't come out.
I'm so
playing
sorry to
ball.
interrupt you.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh my god.
What's happened? Here we
What's
go.
up? The game's not been
Oh,
drawn
he's on
out
about
yet,
the
is it?
draw. Here we go.
Someone just said we got Newcastle away.
No. It's happening now, bro. I'm literally just. I've
Is
got
he
it on the side
taking the
with me.
piss?
Yeah. Or maybe he's
You
predicting. I think. Yeah.
bastard.
We got
So-
Newcastle away.
No.
Again?
We don't. No. It's going on right
I
now.
was gonna say no, don't do that.
No. It's going on right now. Oh,
No.
we just about avoided
No,
Liverpool.
we
by
don't
the
have
way.
Newcastle. Hang on a second.
It's going on right now. Our name's not been drawn yet. I'm watching it on the side. So
Don't even fucking try me. That's why I was getting so. That's why I was getting amped up, Kev. I slept. Do you remember? We slept in the van, mate.
In my car.
We slept in the van after that.
In my car. I know.
Stranded
we got
in
Wolves
Leeds.
away, guys. Wolves away. We got Wolves away.
Wolves away.
Yeah, Wolves
We've
away.
got Wolves.
Yeah.
Oh, on my doorstep.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah,
Not bad draw.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's quite good.
I've not been to the Molineux as well. Might be a good ground to tick off as well.
Yeah, well, it's local for you boys as well, not too far. Wolverhampton, and that hour
That's
and a half,
good.
2 hours.
Wolves away. What day is that, Kev? Is it, have we got a date?
midweek, wasn't it? I think
Tuesday,
probably.
Wednesday, wasn't it?
But do we know when or not?
I can't see right now. I'm just...
I'll let you guys know. They'll tell us in a sec. I think when ties will be played. Week commencing 27th October. So fixtures to be played WC October 27th. So it could be literally that.
October
That week.
27th. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll take Wolves. I'll take that. I'll meet up with Dazzling Dave before.
They're in a bad place at the minute as well. So
They just won their last game, didn't they? They won.
Arsenal got Brighton.
the one yesterday against Everton. But that's their second win all season.
Well, I'm happy
Newcastle got Tottenham and Arsenal got Brighton, so I guess they got tough. Arsenal and Spurs both got tricky-ish games.
All right. Well, you know what? So I'm talking. This is what I'm saying, guys. This is why This is why the put some respect on the Carabao Cup. Honestly, we win that competition. Take it seriously. It will do us the world of good in terms of confidence, keeping that momentum as well.
The thing is, though, we say when you win a cup, I don't feel like, for me personally, that doesn't give me, it's not everything for me. It's everything in the middle. Do you understand? Yeah, football is about winning. But when you consistently see the shit that we see every single week, does the feeling of winning the cup make you excited when you go and see performances last night, performances on Saturday, performances last week against Bayern, all the stuff in between?
Against Bayern was all right.
Sorry?
Bayern was all right. I enjoyed Bayern. That was a good performance.
Yeah, decent at best. But
No,
I just want to see,
very good.
I just want to see consistency on a weekly basis, bro. That makes me more happier, as happy as winning the cup, bro. Because when you see
what you're saying, Kevin, is you want to win the league, and I'm with you. I think every single football fan would say the same thing.
I just want to see some good performances and some consistency, bro. That's it.
No,
I'm yet to see.
I think you're being a bit harsh, mate. If I'm honest with you, I think you're being a bit harsh.
Not being harsh.
No, I do think you're being harsh. I mean, did you even watch the Bayern game?
I watched it, yes.
So you saw the performance, mate. It was a fucking good performance, mate. You know, we actually, there's a good argument for us to win that game. There's individual errors that cost us. And that's
so you just answer my question, bro. Individual errors.
Yeah, but individual errors can be you can address that. It's clear and obvious. That's the beauty. That's the beauty. You don't have to soul search. You know, right? If I do that pass again, maybe this is going to happen. You know, right? I can't let them, put a ball into a dangerous area. So that's the reality of it. But I understand what you're saying, Kev. I appreciate it. We want to have high standards. You know, of course we do. So listen, we've spoken about Jorgensen. Let's talk about the defense, Damesh. We started with Hato on the left. We had Gusto. No tossing. So it was a partnership of Fofana and Chalobah as well, who, to be honest with you, I actually think it was the right decision to drop Tosin, just because, I mean, I think him getting injured is more of a disaster than us getting knocked out of the cup. That's how serious I think it would have been for us, because we would not have been able to cope with Premier League teams playing with Fofana and Chalobah out the back. I just don't see that as a viable option. I really don't. But yeah, talk to me about the defense.
Yeah, in that sense, I kind of see your point, to be fair. But I think for this kind of game, I think this was a perfect game for sort of tossing to play in, where you'd be a bit more physical. You know what's going to happen, where Lincoln are going to dump balls into the box with long throws, corners. Given his height as well, he would have helped with that threat as well. And his passing at the back would have helped us out of transition, to be fair. But then again, we're looking at resting players as well. It's just easy to say that when we can, like, for example, say, oh, we should play Caicedo. Caicedo would have done this, blah, blah, blah. But these players do need a rest as well. So, yeah, the first half, I thought they were both absolutely abysmal, man. Chalobah and Fofana, I mean, it was like watching schoolboy defending, honestly. Just, yeah, no awareness, no communication within the back. Not dealing at all with the threat of the long balls and the corners when they know that was going to come as like a barrage throughout the whole game and stuff. But yeah, they did really struggle, to be fair. And we got away with it in the first couple of minutes. They hit the post, didn't they, Alex, as well?
Yeah, they did hit the post.
Minutes, yeah,
it was a really good effort, actually.
It was good effort. It was good little bit of play, but we should have still dealt with that, and they just didn't feel up for it, to be fair. And then, yeah, I mean, losing Tosin would be a bigger loss than Chalobah and Fofana, I guess, in terms of how we want to play, in terms of having that sort of mix and match of how we progress play and stuff. But I'm just glad Fofana didn't come out injured, to be fair. That's the only positive, really. So, yeah, second half, they dealt with the threat a little bit better. But then I think as a team, we were moving the ball a bit quicker, and we dealt with any threat much more better than the first half. I mean, we still conceded chances, but yeah, I don't think it was a great game for either of them. You know what you're going to get with both of them, to honest with you. It's like you get a few good games and you get one or two horrific games, and that's why they're not of the level centre back that we want to have if we want to move forward, or compared to other teams, Arsenal, Liverpool. That's why our ranking of centre backs isn't as high as theirs, for example. So we know exactly what we're going to get for them. If Fofana can stay fit, we 100% know what kind of centre back he can be. And if he's fit, there's a debate to be had that he's our best centre back. I don't know if you boys agree with that or not.
Say that again.
If Wesley Fofana is fully fit, is he our best centre back? I think so personally.
Yes. Defensively, you're right.
Yeah. In terms of defend, just pure defending, yeah.
Yes.
Pure defending, I say Fofana's our best defender if he's fit. But
yeah,
we have to manage his minutes as well, man. So
worry. Every time he calls me to tackle, he's going to do his knee again.
Literally, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's scary every time you sort of see him go for a 50-50 or a tackle, because you know that he might.
Mate,
the same feeling as Reece James.
None of us here in the fan base would be surprised if he gets an injury in the next 2-3 weeks, bro.
Yeah, I mean, with the load as well. We've got Champions League coming up as well. We've obviously got Brighton over the weekend, and obviously we got Liverpool, we got Brighton, Benfica, and then Liverpool all in sort of 1 week. Awesome. So yeah, if Fofana gets out of that injury free, then I guess I guess the surgery's worked then for him.
This next 2 weeks, I really feel like now these next 4 games is make or break, and it's make or break for Maresca. I can't see his fan base being patient with him. As much as I know it's not on him and it's not his fault, these next 4 games are critical to where we're going to go. Brighton, not an easy game. Benfica at home, not an easy game. The next 2 after that speak for themselves. So
actually, for those kind of games, sorry, Kevin, I think those type of games will actually suit us in a way where we know Brighton and Liverpool are going to come at us, and that's where we actually thrived off last season. I mean, fair enough, we played against a drunk or like champion Liverpool team, but you know what style of play they're going to have. We know that they're going to come at us. I think that's where we actually play better, I feel like. Same thing with obviously the Bayern Munich result didn't go away and stuff, but I still think we played well that game, where they were coming at us, and we dealt with that threat quite well. But then on the flip side, obviously Man United, who we know they're going to sit back, and teams that have sat back, like Brentford, for example, we struggle against. So I actually think like I'm more. It's gonna sound wild. I'm probably more worried about, say, Burnley away, for example, than actually Liverpool at home or Brighton, just because we know what's. Or Burnley's a bad example actually, because they play a different style of football now. But someone like a Wolves away, for example, it's just going to be more horrible to play against than, say, a Brighton at home or Liverpool, because for me anyway, those kind of games are where we thrive on, where the pressure is at us the most, and a so-called big game where we actually came out of, like, say, back end of April, May, in that run-in. So yeah.
I just want to respond to this message from Shashir. Yeah, it's always individual errors that led to a goal, though. Even the best of systems concede when there's errors by its players, and we're making a lot of those. So, what's your point, Alex? We'll be okay. Well, in the grand scheme of things, yes. I guess, yeah, that is my point. We're going to be absolutely fine. I mean, I don't know what we consider to be a disaster, but I would consider a disaster to be not in the Champions League. Not competing for a domestic trophy. I mean, what I want is for us to win one. But I mean, if we go out like we did last season or anything even remotely close to that, that's a disaster. And going out in the league phase of the Champions League, if we're improving in all those elements, you can't deny it. It's just better, isn't it? Because we're not in the Conference League and we don't have the Club World Cup to compare this season. So we almost have to erase that from our memory. But my point with staying calm is, I look back to last season when I wasn't calm, and look how it finished. Look how it ended.
Yeah,
we thought it was a lot worse then than some of you feel now.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, Alex.
And also, like, if we are going to talk about, you know, the past few games, the goal against Brentford was very preventable. I'm sure that can be coached. Yeah, Garnacho, you need to track back. Whether he takes on that information is another thing. We'll find that out. The United game, you cannot, you know, even though Maresca should have made different substitutions, we all agree with that. He would have never prepared for his goalkeeper to be sent off. Nobody would have expected that.
Yeah.
You know, that was a shock. And to play with 10 men for basically the whole match, and then by a minute you're outclassed. You know, it's just a better team. You make a small mistake and they punish you. So in terms of Bayern, like, that's just the way it goes at the top level. In terms of United and Brentford, like, those are very preventable results. Like, we could absolutely go and win those games if you know, if we make small tweaks. So I'm not sitting here saying that you need to spend 100 million. You just need to do some of the basics a little bit better. And I think that we've got enough to fulfill that. So if that's with Chalobah and Tosin starting every week, I don't think that that's the solution to, you know, play with every single week. But if we're stuck with that, I'd like to see some improvement. I'd like to see that. You know, they're perfectly capable of playing in a squad and filling in when needed. They're filling very well. So step up to the plate. You know, also, I don't doubt the character. I think they've got great character. You know, they're not quitters. You know, they're not players that how would I describe it? Confidence players. You know, I think that they're players that can step up to the plate in tough moments, especially Chalobah. We're going to find out a little bit more about Tosin really playing regularly. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm not sitting here saying don't worry about the problems. You obviously, it is concerning. Of course it is. But yeah, let's talk about the midfield as well, Dharmesh. And Kev, we'll get your opinion on this as well. We started with Enzo and it was Santos, right, in the midfield?
Yeah, Santos and Enzo.
Now, Caicedo usually plays alongside Enzo. What do you make of those two? Because a lot of criticism about Fernandes. There was a comment earlier saying he has to be dropped for the next game. I thought Santos was man of the match. I thought he was our best player. I thought that Fernandes, you know, by his own standards, could have certainly had a better game, especially in the first half. But where I am a little bit frustrated is people say how boring the football is, and yet they want to criticize the only player who's trying to create and pass forward and do those risky passes. And that's what Fernandes was doing in the first half. Yeah, it wasn't all coming off. I didn't see anyone else try it. So what? You just want to keep passing sideways? I'm sure that everyone's just been talking about how boring the football is and how you want Chelsea to go forward. So make your mind. Do you want him to pass backwards, sideways, or do you want him to try and take risks and create opportunities?
But Alex, there's trying and there's having the quality to pull off and perform what you're trying to do.
We're talking about passing. This is one of those best attributes.
Cesc Fabregas. Let's talk about him. In the six, he pop balls left, right, and centre. It get put on a sixpence for the attacker to get a goal. Enzo Fernandez does it consistently. The ball gets past to the opposing player consistently. So I think it's more of a quality issue more than him trying. You've got to be able to pull it off for 100. What is it? £105 million player I'm talking about here. You should be doing more, bro. More running, more assists, more everything for your price bracket. You understand? Yeah. So if he's pulling off, we're talking about Lincoln City here, brother, a League One team, and that is your job to assist and to progress the play. If you can't do it consistently against a League One team, obviously the quality isn't there, brother. It's as simple as that. The quality is not there.
We know the quality's there.
I'm yet to see it consistently, brother. Since he's been in the blue top, I'm yet to see Enzo have some consistency, brother. He'll have 1 or 2 games where it looks good and then he'll drop off like he has the last few games once again. He has dropped off. Since the first game of the season, I have not seen him.
You told me you've never seen consistency from him. We saw him have a bad start last season and then a great finish. I mean, that's at least 6 months of consistency.
Well, where's the consistency now? From the start of the season?
Fine.
Now,
he can have a dip, but we know that he can improve, and we know he can do better. I mean, I don't really understand your point because he was the only player that was trying to create. Because everyone else was so rubbish.
That's the word, trying to create. But you're playing against a league. You're playing against a League One opposition. That should even be a thing, bro. You're £105 million worth of talent. You're trying to create. You should be creating, brother. Not trying. You should be pulling off these passes that you're trying to do. They should be going to the play every single time. You're playing against a League One team, bro. So obviously, the quality is not there. It's just being overhyped, bro. He's overhyped, bro. Simple as that. Enzo is not that guy, bro. Like I said, okay, last season, he started off crap and towards the end of the season got better, but we need to see this consistently for the start, all through the season now, bro. It's your third season at Chelsea. We've not seen no consistency yet. You're £105 million. £105 million, bro.
I mean, the price tag is obviously not his fault, to be fair. But what I would say to that is that why in that time scale, how many managers has he had as well in terms of different styles of plays as well? Like we've seen Enzo used in so many different positions. We saw him do left wing shifts under Pochettino. We saw him as the deepest playmaker at times as well, and we've seen him more as this like advanced 10 or this like 8 now. So in terms of the amount of managers we've had in that time, I don't think it's helped his cause that much. And regardless of the price and stuff, the price is obviously not his fault. But I do still think there's a player in there. I mean, like as Alex said, he started off the season a bit slow. He's done the same this season. He's not been good so far this season, but I don't expect him to be, say, the consistency of like a Cole Palmer or like someone like an Esteval for us, for example, where it's just a given that Enzo's going to have a good game, or like a Caicedo. For me, I don't expect that personally of Enzo Fernandez. I expect him to be influential in sort of the big moments or where we need him the most. And yeah, I'll speak on yesterday. He wasn't good at all yesterday. And I think him and that pivot of Santos didn't really work because they weren't really sure who was the sitter of them two. Because they're both, I don't think they're both good sitters. They're both more. They need the Caicedo or need the Sugo with them to do what they need to do. So
I just feel like
I will say this though, just on one comment that says You know, you don't try to create in your own box. That was a poor pass.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Poor
It was bad.
pass.
Yeah,
And
he has to hold that.
when I'm talking about, well, when I'm being more positive than Kev, I'm not talking about what he's doing in his own half. I'm talking about him creating, you know, and trying to ping the ball around and make things happen in the opposition half. Not everything came off, but I saw more. You know, nobody else was doing it. Yeah, yes, it's his job, but how many midfielders are there to create and don't create? You know, there's so many examples you could you could use.
So what is Enzo Fernandez's role? This is what we need to try and figure out. Is he a deep line playmaker? Is he a box to box? Is he a holding midfielder? What? Because we need to identify.
I think under
what is
Maresca,
that-
he's a box crasher, isn't he? That's what Maresca wants. And Maresca said that he's tried to work on that. I will say this: it's not as pretty, mate.
He scored quite a few goals, making
Big
late
goals
runs to
as
the
well.
box. One being against Betis in the final. He scored
Tottenham at home as well.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Villa.
he is improving the aspect. But for me personally, on transition, both ends of the pitch, defending and going forward, he's far too slow, bro. He doesn't keep up well. He doesn't read the play well. It seems like players get around him too quickly. I'm just under the impression now that I feel like this may be his last season. I think if he can't fulfill his potential that we expect from him, I'm hearing Camavinga and £50 million at Real Madrid. I feel like the Spanish
and you sell Enzo.
I would sell him
because they're definitely going to make a profit on him.
I'd sell him. I think this is last season to prove himself. We can't keep on sitting there saying what's his best position, what's his role. Okay, he's improving and making runs into the box, but is that what's his role? Because on the defensive transition, he never gets a tackle in. He gets beat too quickly. He's far too slow. He doesn't. In them little intricate passes, he's not quick enough in there. I don't feel like he reads the ball quick enough as well. So, can we keep on starting him game after game after game just because his price tag, bro? When you've got players in the squad,
not just because of his price tag. You know, he's a
good
player, mate. And by the way,
I think the price tag is a problem.
He should be dropped already. He should be dropped already, bro.
In the pecking order, you cannot deny, and we're not talking about form here. We're talking on paper. Enzo is ahead of Santos in that pecking order, and rightly so, based on what he's achieved in his career and what he's done. Now, I'm with you guys in the sense that I would drop Enzo. And actually, if I'm not wrong, one of the first games of the season, I mentioned that I'd start Santos over Enzo. This is not a new argument for me. I've always been an advocate of starting Santos, but I'm just the criticism that I'm seeing from some fans. If we're talking about the goal we conceded because of his mistake is one thing. If we're talking about what he's doing in the other half is another thing. And I just think that based on Lincoln and Lincoln alone, I really struggled to look at Enzo and be angry with him. Yeah, frustrated is a word, but it wasn't for a lack of effort. It wasn't like he wasn't trying to find the passes. He was. It just didn't work out. Okay. But he improved in that second half. He got better. And I thought Santos was fantastic. So in an ideal world, what we do is we start Caicedo, we start Santos, and, we just have a little bit more. Yeah, one thing about Santos, I will say, is I just get that feeling that we'll dominate that central area more with him. If there's a 50-50, Enzo doesn't strike me as a player who wins the 50-50s. He doesn't really
what I
win
said. I'd like to see Lavia.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see Lavia and Caicedo. I think that those two in the pivot, mate, it's so solid. But in the ideal world, that's what you want. But Enzo, like you said, on the defensive transition, he's just not built for it. He doesn't want to do the dirty work, bro.
No, he does. He's just not very good at it.
He's not good, is he?
But does that not tell you more about how good he is on the ball when he's at his best? The fact that we're able to sacrifice what we do. And that's probably one of the reasons we get him up further up the pitch, right? So that he's not one of the players who has to deal with that. That's why we invert our fullbacks, to give us a little bit more stability in the middle, dealing with counterattacks. So yeah, I don't think it's. I'm a fan of Enzo. He's not my favorite player, but I am a fan of him.
I think we saw the best of him, Brentford away for me. I think that was his. If we are to pick any performance from this season, I think that Brentford away was probably his best that we've seen from this season in terms of movement, sharpness, linking up the play, trying to create chances for other players, which he did do, to be fair. But I actually think the Benfica game will be a good game for him to come back to, and some of the Champions League games I think will suit him more than maybe sort of the physical Premier League games that we've had so far this season.
I'll be interested to see what he can do against Benfica.
Benfica, yeah. I mean, that's obviously his old. That is his old club, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
As well, yeah. That is his old club as well. So yeah, I think just for this weekend, I don't know. I'll probably give Santos a go against Brighton, then have Enzo ready for Benfica. See what we can do for that. But yeah.
Let's just touch briefly on Santos as well, because I know we seem to have spoken a lot about Enzo, but we need to let's explain why we start Santos, because I mean, obviously the middle of the pot. What do you think he brings? What do you think he can bring that's just a little bit going to be more effective?
Energy,
power as well.
Energy.
I think power next to Caicedo as well, and drive. I think more of a drive than Enzo does physically as well. I think physically he'll be more of a threat compared to Enzo Fernandez. And maybe I think I'd say goal threat as well, but maybe not more than Enzo Fernandez in terms of like that sort of box crashing that we're on about. But I do see him, say for example, having a shot from like 20-30 yards than Enzo. And I think it'll give less ground for Caicedo to cover as well. So yeah.
Hey, Kev, your dad's not impressed, huh? He's not impressed.
Well, he's not impressed in me. He left me in Manchester on Saturday.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh my
Why?
God.
He said to me, Kev, if you want to leave the game early, make your own way back.
Hey, fair play to him. I'll give him that.
Me.
That's fair enough.
£70 out of pocket now.
You should not. You should not be leaving early. That is horrendous, Kev. No matter what you say,
You know what? I was just cold, wet. I was just soon as you know what it was. You know what got me? I'm like this. Keeper's been sent off. I'm talking to someone. Turn around and look on the pitch. Where's Neto? Where's Estavio? And then within the next 5 minutes, they score a goal, and then Palmer comes off. I said, nah.
That's actually so true as well, because I from where I was sitting, I saw Kev as well. He was literally just like that the whole time. I'm like, bro, you don't see? I'm like, Kev, turn round, look, there's something going on right now. Look,
that was it. When Palmer went off, bro, I was just standing there. I can't sit there and watch Cucurella running up the pitch, looking up, turning back, and playing the ball back in the ball. I said, nah. Sorry, boys, I can't do it. I said I can't do this shit, bro. I really can't. So me and Reg, we left after about 40 minutes. No, he was gone. Oh no, he was gone.
That's poor, mate. That is so poor.
I blame it on Reg. He got into my head.
Blame it on Reg. Let's talk about Buonanotte. What did you make of his performance, Darmesh? Getting his first goal as well. That's a big deal for a new player to finally get on the score sheet.
Yeah. Good to get off the mark, to be fair. I mean, the only thing I'm shamelessly saying, he's got more. He scored quicker than White did for Liverpool, so that's something. And then I thought overall, especially second half, I thought he played pretty decent. Took his goal really well as well. It was a nice, tidy little finish as well. I think, was it outside the foot? I think it was. It seemed like it was one of them ones was outside the foot.
He sort of dinked it past the keeper. Yeah, he sort of dinked it.
It was a good finish. I mean, like, there's signs that he can replicate that Palmer role, if that makes sense. Obviously, he's not going to be the level of Cole Palmer, but in terms of profile, he does suit the profile that we need and have. And it'll just be good to see more minutes of him, to be fair, or maybe for chasing a game, maybe Maresca does something different and chuck him in instead of a Caicedo or Santos. But I thought he did okay for his first second start. And like I said before, maybe this is his level. We don't know that yet, but it's just a good confidence booster for him. So yeah,
You know what I'd say? He's one of those players that when he gets involved in the game, you can see the impact he makes. And I mean, it's like any 10 really. If they're involved, then it's brilliant. And if they're not, then you just think, what are you doing on the pitch? And I thought in the first half there was just nothing, no link up or anything like that. Garnacho was the one bringing most of the energy. I thought Gittins was, having a crack as well. Just a lack of quality really from him. No end product.
Very poor, man. And
I thought in that second half we saw a lot of link up. You saw Santos, you saw Enzo, you saw Buonanotte. Making some really good, which is just it's just nice to watch at times. Just that one touch football, and the goal he scored was a beautiful goal in terms of
nice,
of the team as well. I will say this, guys. I don't really know in the grand scheme of things why we signed Buonanotte. I think ultimately it comes down to finances, which maybe that is an argument I should have made an hour ago when we were talking about centre backs. That could be the reason that we didn't go out and buy someone for 60 mil, because we did have to sell in order to buy. So that is definitely a factor. But I mean, listen, you bring a player like Buonanotte on loan and he performs. Yeah. He's a good squad player. Maybe it's a deal that Chelsea will look at. And
sorry to interrupt. Just hopefully we haven't watched Brighton's game last night with that Gomez scored 4 goals, because you know what's coming in January, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what's
100 million bid. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Alex. Carry on.
I didn't even see the Brighton score. So
4 goals there, and some Gomez, Paraguayan player, scored 4 goals.
He's their striker.
Yeah, striker.
Oh, brilliant.
So, bad news for us, unfortunately. That's a 65 million bid incoming very shortly.
Hey, well, yeah. Hey, listen, big up to Ashley as well. What a lovely message from Ashley. Lincoln fan in peace. Met a few Chelsea fans around Lincoln yesterday, and everyone was really complimentary of us. I just want to say thanks. Hope you have a decent season unless we meet in the FA Cup. But listen, I've got nothing but good things to say about Lincoln. Honestly, guys, you see Lincoln's close to Grimsby on the map, and you think, Grimsby's a bit of a...
Lincoln's nice.
Yeah, Lincoln's beautiful. Loved it. Nice kebab place by the stadium. Had a little kebab. Nice Airbnb. We had a bit of a problem with the accommodation, which I'll be honest with you, mate, was quite worrying, because where we were, we didn't have a key. We had one of those code doors. You have to type in the code and then twist it. And the code was on Cam's phone, and Cam's phone ran out. And then my phone, he tried to log in on his Gmail. But if anyone has a Gmail account, you will know that when you try and sign in on Gmail, it doesn't just... on your phone. You can't just put in a password. You have to accept with your phone. It's just like, what's the point of having a fucking Gmail account? Literally 0 point, because even if you know your own password, they won't let you in.
Anyway,
it got to the stage where we almost accepted we're not going to get into our accommodation. We're not going to get in.
So Cam's battery went?
Yeah, his battery went.
So why don't you just go and find somewhere to go to a kebab shop and say, phone my phone 2 minutes?
It's 11:30, mate.
Shit.
11:30. And then...
I'm disappointed in you, mate.
I'll tell you what, you can tell him, because he keeps telling me after West Ham that I'm the reason we got home at 4 a.m. But guess what, Cam? It's 1-1, because I may not have done the business in West Ham, but Lincoln, that was on you, mate. And he tried to blame me. He said, Alex, you were walking too slow. What? What are you talking about?
So you know what he should have done is, he should have said, oh, my phone's on 1%. Oh, shit, the code's on my phone. Alex, screenshot this, send it on WhatsApp, so you've got a... Not rocket science.
I'm saying, Kev.
Why didn't you write it down or something? Or like the power bank
This
exists,
is the
man.
basics. This is the basics. Well, I've got to have a word with it.
4 from Cam. 4 from Cam.
I can't lie, that's poor,
so I still haven't told you how we got in. So we're sitting down on the steps. Oh, my God, we're not going to get in. And I had this sort of thing. I was like, I'm going to have to wake someone up, someone in another room, and I'm going to have to knock on their window. So I'm sort of looking through the blind. I've gone, I've knocked on the... I've gone, oh shit, it's my own room. So I was knocking on the wrong door. So I went, okay, let's go back to the one next door. So I've knocked on it. and lady goes, "Who's that?" And I'm like, I'm like, so sorry. We're locked out. And she was like, put in the code. And I was like, the phone's run out. We can't put the code in. Anyway, she sort of peeped through the blinds or whatever. And, we kind of explained the situation. Anyway, she ended up, her partner ended up coming outside and letting us in, but they wouldn't let us use a charger because apparently it always gets nicked every time they lend someone a charger. So we ended up hanging around for 10 minutes trying to figure out how we're going to get into the room now because we still need the code.
So
and then he gave us the number.
To charge for you?
What's that?
Why did he give him the phone to charge your phone for you? Here's my phone. Charge that 1 minute.
Well, if I'm honest, we found that out, and then we had an Android, so it was pointless. Pointless argument. But he gave us the number of the place, and we called the place, and they happened to answer, and they gave us the code, so we got in. It was
wow.
It was quite stressful. Yeah.
All that for a 2-1 win against Lincoln City.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
it was quite good, to be fair. It was a pleasant trip in that sense. It could have been a lot worse, guys. It could be a lot worse. It would have been one of those messy nights where it's like, what am I going to do for 8 hours? But no, we got there in the end. It was all right in the end. But so Lincoln was pleasant. Going back to Buonanotte, we were just speaking about him. I think that he's a good player in these competitions, just like Mark Guiu, who could have actually played, by the way. A couple of hours before the game, we found out that he would have been available. Isn't that just typical? But yeah, Buonanotte performed. Tyreek George, what's your take on George? Because I'll be honest with you, Dharmesh, I was at halftime, I was like, get him off. And then obviously he scored that goal. And I didn't realize how good the goal was. It was unreal.
It's good here, but he still had a shit game. He was still crap.
Yeah, but he's not a striker though, isn't he?
He's not. Yeah, he's not. But yeah, it's the problem. But it's the problem in the criticism.
£2 billion squad. £2 billion squad, but Tyreek George is your only second choice striker in the squad.
It's not good. Yeah. It's not good, and we all know it doesn't work as well. We all know Tyreek George doesn't work, and that's what I was saying to you at the start of the show, Alex, about Maresca not using Guiu. Like, well, what is the reason why he's not using Mark Guiu there? I'd rather him use Guiu there than play, say, Garnacho on the right and say George on the left. I'd rather have that, and then maybe swap them.
I've heard he's been dropped.
What do you mean?
The rest has dropped him apparently.
Dropped him?
Dropped him by Maresca.
He never started in the first place.
No, he's been dropped from the squad completely.
Full stop.
Yeah, I'm hearing. I think it's quite vague. I don't believe it at all. But someone told me. Tyreek George has stuck it on his. Look on Maresca's wife or something. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true.
Huh?
I know it's a load of crap.
What?
That's what I've heard.
He's like 18 years old.
Yeah.
If it was Mark Guiu,
if it was Mark Guiu, I believe it.
Late 30s, at best, that same age as me and she, about 38, 30s. That's what I've heard. It's probably bull crap, but that's what I've heard.
No.
They're just telling you that.
I don't know where I heard it from. Someone messaged me. You messaged me that now. I got it from somewhere. I think I heard that today.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, someone stuck it on Maresca's wife, so he's been dropped from the whole squad. I don't know how true it is.
That's brilliant.
See where...
Are you sure it's not Mark Guiu? Because that's why he's not starting. Surely he's got to
be yeah. I mean, I don't think Maresca would be unhappy if
someone sent it me today. Well, let me have a look. I've seen it somewhere. I read it somewhere.
Oh, that is hilarious. I was not expecting that.
You too.
Sorry, George is like the last player I would have expected you to say that about. Oh God. Source, trust me.
Trust
me, bro. That's great.
But yeah, just on the last thing on George, man, like, apart from the goal, man, I thought he was crap again, rubbish. Yeah, and even when the times he has played over on the wing and stuff, I'm still not bought bought by him, man. Honestly, I think it's just best if we, for me anyway, just cut ties in January, and sell him, just make profit on him.
Well, listen, whatever we
Me
sell him is
personally,
profit,
yeah.
and that's the reality. But I mean, it's good for his value, you know, if you want to look at it that way. But I mean, he will be sold. We know that because we're signing a mega from Strasbourg. George isn't going to want to be a fourth choice, regardless. I think he's totally open to moving as well. But you might as well put a shift in. You know, it is your job. So okay, that's what we're thinking about. Tariq, George, let's just finish up on Garnacho and Gittins as well. And you know, we know that we had a small stint from Wecker, and Reggie Walsh as well came on right at the end. But let's talk about Garnacho, Gittins, and then we'll answer one or two questions and we'll wrap it up.
Garnacho and Gittins, man, dumb and dumber, man. Honestly, they're both crap, genuinely rubbish. Like, if there's a game that you want them to build some confidence and build upon, is this kind of game against League One Lincoln. You just want them to go out and express yourself. Like, put thoughts in Maresca's head in terms of the starting lineup for Saturday, because we know what we're saying that now Palmer's injured, Esteban might play in the 10, to be fair, so one of them might actually get a chance to play again. But these are the types of games that you want to grasp and take the opportunity to build some confidence, man. Get some GA in. But yeah, Garnacho was good in spells, but he just phased out the game. I didn't think Gittins was good either. Yeah, they were both just average, man. Very average, and it's a shame, especially with obviously the games that we've got coming up as well. I don't really see any of them making an impact off the bench as well either. So yeah,
I'm with you.
The massive improvements needed by both of them, and these are the players that Alex, you said to me very shortly ago that the improvements on what we had last season.
No, not Gittins, mate. I didn't say Gittins. No, I didn't say Gittins. Garnacho's an improvement.
I haven't seen no improvement from that.
Is he better than Mudryk?
Yeah. I'd have to say yeah.
Hey, Kev, we've had enough debates. I knew what we were going to say about that one. I mean, that's fairly obvious, but I think, look, if you're looking long term, there, I do think it's an improvement on Sancho. I think that Sancho last season, that was him at his best in the Premier League. Honest to God, that's what I believe. And so I think for what we had with Sancho, it was good. But I do think that Garnacho, mate, like, I think it's a smart signing. I'm not sitting here and saying that there's other players I wouldn't take. I was on the United stand before the game, obviously at Old Trafford, and they said, which player would you take from Man United? And I said, Cunha. And I said, I'd play him on the left, over Garnacho, over these guys. So I appreciate there's upgrades that can be made, but I like Garnacho. I think it's interesting that you say that they were dumb and dumber. I thought that Garnacho in the first half was our best player. I think he was our best player, mate. In terms of the energy, his willingness to actually run and try to make things happen. There wasn't many spaces to go into. We had Lincoln very happy to sit deep and then obviously counter. They did well getting their goal. But Garnacho was swapping around with Gittins. I think that when they swapped sides, it was worse for Garnacho. But then you saw Gittins play slightly better. But I think that I think the Garnacho on the left was better to watch.
Yeah. But I think the standard was so low in the first half. Like, genuinely,
it was low. But again, like, if everyone's poor and someone's better than everyone else, it's still not good enough. But you have to say that they were the best. They were the best player.
Yeah. Like I said, in phases, like Garnacho was like.
It's all about environment. We said this before about the environment. Put yourself in a bad environment, it's much harder to thrive. Put yourself in a good environment, then you've got a good chance of success. So I'm seeing a player that's performing better than everyone else in a team that's not really working. So am I supposed to take that as a negative from Garnacho? I don't think that's the way I would phrase it.
What people fail to realise as well is you got a guy who was literally signed about 2 weeks ago. We can't be putting pressure on a lad. He's just come into this team. He hasn't had the pre-season. So basically, this is his pre-season now. Into a new team, new style of football, new players, new city, everything else. you got to think of all the different things around the signing. You just need to give the guy time. I'm not Gittins, Garnacho, both new into the squad. Give them time to settle. I don't see why we put pressure on these players straight away. There's not many players in world football that will come into a team, hit the ground running. Everyone needs time.
I do think, yeah. Sorry, Kev.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I hear it with Gittins, but with Garnacho, I'm sorry, man. Like, he's Premier League experience. I mean, he's had enough experience in this league, and I hear the stuff about pre-season and all that, match sharpness. That's fine, but the expectation to do well should be that more there for Garnacho than Gittins, I think. And yeah, with that experience as well, you expect him to be of the level, and I just can't see it. I just can't see it, and the amount of sort of backing and defense this guy gets is too much.
I mean, look,
that's what I see anyway.
For me, I hold out hope with Garnacho. With Gittins, I can see straight away he's not good enough. I can see that. I have hope with Garnacho. And by the way, Garnacho was good against Brentford on the ball, and good against Bayern when he came on as well. The mistake he made defensively, like, that needs to be cut out of his game. And I think, again, like I was just talking about Lincoln. So I think it's a pretty promising start from Garnacho. We need to see some goals and assists, although he was a huge factor in Caicedo's goal against Brentford. I almost classify that as an assist in terms of the way he was opening up the pitch. But, yeah, definitely improvements to be made.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything more to say about Gittins?
Just honestly, he needs a lot of coaching, man. That's all I'm gonna say on him, really. And is playing him more gonna help him? I don't know. But then is him not playing enough gonna hinder him in some way? I don't know. I think maybe it's just best if he comes on as an impact sub where players are tired.
Just don't put pressure on him. We never went and told the board member to spend £55 million on a player who's had 2 full seasons in Germany. This is his 3rd season as a pro. £55 million. We never told the board member. What we wanted at the start of the season is a quality player like Rodrigo or Rafleo, top winger. We again got Gittins. We wanted to have Simmons. We got Gittins. We cannot blame him. He's been thrown into a massive club. Different league. He's gonna have to learn quickly because the pressure's on him already. People are already saying, what a waste of money, this and that. They're not giving him Sky time. I feel like he just needs time. So I'm not even gonna try and put pressure on him or say negative stuff about him because I understand football. I know that he's only a young lad. Give him time. Maybe in January, if the performances haven't come on, then we can start judging him then. But for now, just give him time to find his
I agree.
Yeah. Right. Let's do some questions now, guys, and then we're going to wrap it up. Let's go through the comments and see what. So we've got AJ saying, "Would you take Lampard back if Maresca is sacked?"
No. Big fat no.
Who the hell said that? AJ, man.
No chance. As much as I love Lampard and stuff, it'd be good. It'd be good.
I think that's a pretty easy one.
No.
I don't think we really need to explain that.
No,
we've already tried that. Dario Sugo will be like N'Golo Kante in terms of interception if he gets more minutes when he's back from injury. What do you see?
What, with regards to that comment? Or...
Yeah, with regards to Dario Sugo.
Yeah.
Comparison with N'Golo Kante. That's a big one.
It's a big one, but with the small sample size that we've seen him so far, I mean, yeah, maybe not Kante levels, but let's just see him play for Chelsea first, like properly, before we start mentioning Kante. But yeah, the profile's there for him, but let's just see.
What do you think, Kev?
Wow. Wow. I'm not ever gonna answer the question, bro. We haven't seen enough of him yet in the blue shirt to even make any assumption how he'll do. Yeah, there's potential there. But N'Golo Kante, it's a long way to get to that standard. Long way. But I can kind of see your vision a tiny bit, yeah.
You can see the vision. I mean, he's a good defensive player. He can get stuck in.
Profile wise.
Yeah.
I'm not really. No, I think we can have that conversation about Caicedo. He's earned the right to have that conversation, but
Not yet for me,
far off, mate. Yeah.
Steve asks, how much did we pay for Jorgensen?
23 million, I think.
Yeah,
23. Oh, it was Villarreal, guys. That was the club as well. Villarreal. Can't believe we didn't. I don't know why that. When does Lavia come back?
he's back in training, isn't he? No?
So is he available for Brighton?
How long is a piece of string? He comes and he goes. The last time I seen him training, his knee was strapped up very heavily. So
I think he'll start against Liverpool. You know, I've got a feeling he'll start against Liverpool.
Is he back now? Is he?
I think he's back in training. I think he's back in training, but I think we'll have him ready for Liverpool. I think that's what. Well, I'm not obviously in Maresca's head, but I could kind of see him just be like, Lavia, just get ready for Liverpool at home. That's it.
Yeah. Question for the panel: when was our last great performance? For me, it was the Carabao Cup final against PSG.
Yep.
Yeah.
West Ham away wasn't too bad as well.
West Ham away.
West Ham away was a good performance.
Yeah. West Ham away.
You know what? That performance. You know what? When we actually won that game, the enthusiasm was there. You know what? It was like the buzz was there, and that's just come crashing down real quick. It's come crashing down, isn't it?
No, a normal couple of weeks in life for Chelsea fan, isn't it?
It's all part of it, though, isn't it? It's all part of it.
I'd say the pre-season games, actually, guys. Well, forgot about the pre-season games.
Yeah,
I'm not pre-season,
but it's like Leverkusen, AC Milan, but obviously not
very short, wasn't it? Yeah.
Why do some players Clownley bring in always fall out with the current manager? Who are we referring to here? What do you guys think about that comment?
Why do some players Clownley brings?
I think
I'm
not sure which players we're talking about here, Stephen. Maresca to be sacked soon. He's going a bit against the board on the press, talking about Liverpool transfers.
I think that's taken out of context a lot of from his comments. I mean, he wasn't directly.
Something's bubbling. I sense something. You can tell by the way he's talking in the press conference that he's not talking as fluent as he used to. Like he's just making a load of. He's just talking a load of waffle, isn't he? I heard him talking about his dad as a fisherman and all this crap last week. And
but I mean that made sense. He was talking about the players having a hard life. I mean, it's right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The pressure's here now. He knows now. The pressure's here. Because
I don't think it's
only 4 months
with his dad being a fisherman.
We was all saying his dad is a fisherman. That's what you're saying, yeah.
No, I know, but what's wrong with that? What's wrong with him saying?
Yeah, but it's just the stuff he's saying in the press conference. I feel like the pressure is getting into a little bit.
I think it's the questions being asked as well. Like obviously the reporters were asking about Disasi and Sterling. I mean, like they obviously know they're going to get a bite out of him saying that. So I think I can understand why I'm frustrated, but. Yeah, I think those comments were a little bit out of context, the Liverpool ones, like compared to Liverpool. I think people have read that in a way of like, oh, like he's gone against the owners and stuff. Oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do this. But I think he's just explaining how the situation could be better, if that makes sense, without actually saying, like fuck you, Winstanley, Stewart, and all that.
Indirectly.
That's true. Hey, listen, guys, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this episode. This is what we're going to be doing for the Day After Pod. From now on, it will be a live show. It will be a live show. It's just better, isn't it? It's better that way. We can interact with everyone. We can answer questions. And, we're not down to the time constraints of recording in a lunch break or something like that. I think it's a lot better this way. But listen, guys, smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. Big shout out to Dharmesh and Kev for jumping on. We were due to have Shaggy on as well, but he wasn't feeling particularly great. But we're going to have another episode coming out. Basically after every game. So I mean that's the idea with this podcast. So we're going to keep it live, keep it consistent, and we hope to have you joining us on the future episodes. But if you haven't enjoyed it, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and listen, we'll be back very soon. But listen, big up, Kev. Appreciate your time, mate. Thanks so much as well, Damesh.
Thank you, bro.
For coming on. I think it's been a nice conversation. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there.